We have an update on a WWE faction splitting up. Plus, there's an AEW star about to return this month. Plus, Steve Austin comments on that bizarre WrestleMania pitch that he had. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. Sad day on NXT when we saw Noam Dar, Aura Mensah, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legends say farewell to the metaphor, all off to find their own horizons.
Yeah, I'm sure Jack and Matthew will be pouring one out, as the children say, on the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast.
They will indeed. Now, the plan for this, according to sources, Andrew, it wasn't something that was in the pipeline for very long.
No, Wrestling Observer reporting that the metaphor found out they would be splitting up on the day of NXT, so this doesn't seem to be too long in the planning at all. It feels like an off-the-cuff kind of decision.
Very much so, and it was one of those where the faction itself was blighted by injuries from one or another, but in the brief time that they were together, I think they were wonderful. They were a brief flashing light in the stratosphere of wrestling.
And that the entrance as well, I feel like it's a sad thing that we've been... Oh, this chair is going down. It's a sad thing
down like the metaphor.
It's a sad thing that we've been denied the...
Lift your bottom
I'm lifting up. There we go. The entrance on the main roster is what I was trying to say, because that entrance is phenomenal as well from the four of them. Very, very cool. But I guess maybe with like the draft coming up soon, maybe they have plans to take some of them up to the main roster to do their own singles thing.
I do see Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend being called up to the main roster.
Yeah, me too.
And being part of that women's tag team division. I see Aura Mensah continuing to plug away on Evolve and maybe come back to NXT main roster on his own wind. For Noam Dar, I feel like the main roster's calling for him at some point as well.
You'd have thought so, but he's got that cup. He's got the Heritage Cup. What's he going to do?
Yeah, it's one that we're going to keep an eye on. But yeah, denied that entrance on the main roster. The Simpsons arcade game-esque entrance. The world will never be treated to on the main roster. Speaking of main roster, Gunther off the main roster for a little bit. He was suspended after attacking Michael Cole and Pat McAfee on the Raw after Mania. McAfee threw down the challenge for a match against Gunther at Backlash, which is now on the cards. Gunther, according to PW Insider, not expected back on WWE programming until Backlash itself. So no sign of him on the Go Home show coming up next week on Raw. And the next time we see him will be on the show itself.
He's been suspended.
What
can you... Because reports obviously said shoot suspended. Reports said that he'd asked for some time off, which is understandable as well. So, what he turns up at Backlash, absolutely decimates Pat, and then says, "See ya."
I do, and I said this in the news last week. I do genuinely think that. With Pat, I think whilst Pat is a big old braggadocious character, I think Pat has enough wherewithal to not go. I'm going to beat Gunther.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Pat would. If Pat was pitched to beat Gunther, Pat would even go, I'm not going to beat Gunther. I'll get some good shots in, but Gunther will take me down.
Absolutely. Does Gunther look like a monster in doing so as well? I'd assume so, right?
Definitely. That's one of the matches set for Backlash coming up next weekend. Meanwhile, over in AEW, a return set for this month, quite possibly.
Yeah, Sky Blue has been off AEW TV since suffering a broken ankle during a Collision taping last July, but a return, indeed, as Tom said, could be on the way. This comes from Fightful Select, who say Sky Blue was present backstage at this week's AEW Dynamite taping. We're told she's actually been backstage at numerous TV tapings as of late. We're told she was also at tapings as far back as Cincinnati. It should be noted that AEW will return to the area of Blue's hometown, Chicago, on May 14th for AEW Dynamite and Collision Beach Break. AEW have long targeted May as a possible clearance date.
So seeing Sky Blue back in an AEW ring in her hometown.
Huge. It'll be lovely. I'm excited for it because I enjoyed everything, like the whole character change that she had as well, along with Julia Hart, and to see her gathering some momentum was very, very cool to see. So I'll be very happy to see her come back, and I imagine she'll get a big old pop as well.
Yeah, I think they keep it as a nice surprise and have her just turn up.
Yeah, nice surprise.
Yeah.
Like, we just... Oh, come on now.
Those gosh darn aggregators ruining wrestling. Paul was right.
He was right all
We
along.
should just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
You know what? And not take it all too seriously. Anyway, Steve Austin flavored news. So speaking of surprises, this might have caught you over the last couple of days. Logan Paul, apparently, according to Logan Paul, offered Stone Cold Steve Austin a cool $1 million to appear at WrestleMania dressed as the Prime Bottle mascot. Now, I would assume that this was going to be part of his match against AJ Styles, where you'd have the Prime mascot come down, get unmasked, it's Steve Austin. Austin throws the costume off, gives Logan Paul a stunner. Like, that would have been what would have been pitched. It didn't happen. Thank the Lord. Even though $1 million I wouldn't turn down $1 million to dress as a Prime bottle. I'm not one to turn down such an offer, but Austin did. And he spoke to Ariel Helwani about it. He confirmed that he was indeed offered money, and it was indeed pitched to him. He said, if he had said that, I'm going to call him a liar. If he said that, I'm not going to call him a liar. I just thought it wasn't personal. It was personal business. But since it's out there, I turned it down. I'm not in the beer. I'm in the beer business. I don't know anything about his product, its ingredients, whether it's good or bad. It just wasn't my thing. It's not my gimmick. He's doing great. He's hustling, and I respect that. But it just wasn't the right fit for Steve Austin.
It's not my gimmick.
It's not my gimmick to dress as a big Prime bottle. So what he's saying is, had it been a big can of Broken Skull IPA,
then there could have been a chance.
There might have been a chance. He spoke with Ariel Helwani about a whole bunch of things, including that incident on his ATV. So you saw footage emerge from WrestleMania where he missed the ramp completely on his way in.
He did, yeah.
And you saw him crashing into the barricade, an incident that prompted WWE President Nick Khan to go and have a chat with a fan who took a tumble following that ATV incident. Because where there's a blame, there's a claim. Steve Austin spoke on that whole thing, didn't he?
He did. He said, I was embarrassed by it, and I think everybody's okay. You go out there on the biggest night in wrestling, and you end up like that. It's not the greatest day at the office. You go out there and want to give people the best show that you can, and when you fall short of that, it's not great. Austin also puts the accident down to a different throttle system than the one he was used to, which, fair enough, but at the same time, he was going bloody hell for leather around that ring. If it was a different throttle and he was still going for it, then he's a mentalist. He's a mentalist.
He really is. And he gave it some socks as well. When asked about what he thought of the main event, he said, I didn't see it. Which suggests that he did that bit, got on his ATV, and immediately left WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Put his tunes on, didn't think about it again.
That was it. Turned up, crashed his ATV, lady fell over, got in the ring, rattled off some numbers, called everybody a cool-ass cat. Went to go check if that lady was all right for about 1 second, and they were like, I'm off home.
We're going to beat the traffic. See you in a minute. And that was Steve Austin's WrestleMania experience. Hell in a Smell was an experience. This room still stinks. Thanks for that. Remind me when we finish this video to open those windows once again.
Yes.
Now, if you missed it, highlights on the Patreon, I believe.
So on the free tier of Patreon, you can find the highlights from Hell in a Smell 6, and also, as mentioned in the first news video, the feel-good hit of the summer, I love horse piss. Splish, splash, splash. In brackets as well, if you fancy.
Yeah, it is. You know how last year, I Believe in Joe Hendry was the big hit?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that this year's I Believe in Joe Hendry.
We can only hope, Tom. We can only hope.
And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out Cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.